Hi everybody, it's the CC and JT Amateur Hour. CC.
JT?
We are getting quite a bit of traffic on our website, so we're going to just start with the basics. We're going to start with the basics by saying that we are, this is a writer's podcast. What it is we try to talk about writing in this podcast. And, sometimes we stumble around and we eventually get there, but CC has been writing, well, actually, I guess both of us have been writing for most of our lives, though you've been writing much seriously for much longer than I have.
With a break.
With a break. And then the break went the other way, and then I started writing seriously, and somehow we ended up with a catalog of more than 17 books, which is pretty cool.
Mostly his for now.
For now. She'll catch up. So so in this podcast, what we try to do is we try to break down the writing process. As indie publishers, as self-publishers, we don't have the luxury of having a corporation behind us. So what we do is we started writing, and then we sort of threw the business in at the end. And so
after we retired from our day jobs.
So we have an LLC that supports, that's our little itty bitty publishing company, Two More Books LLC. We do our community service through our LLC by being partners with the Sierra Arts Foundation.
Right.
And by sponsoring the Nevada Author Network,
which is our second podcast.
And then every once in a while we have writers come on this podcast, and we've had so many wonderful writers. So it sounds like we do a lot, and now that I've said it, it sounds like we do a lot.
We do. We keep pretty busy because, as I said, we retired from our day jobs, and now you are over 3 years, I think, since you retired. I'm a year and a half. I'll be 2 years in March. So the idea of having a quiet and slow retirement, we somehow missed the memo.
Yeah, we missed the memo.
We are probably maybe busier now than we were in our day jobs, because you could clearly come home and be done with work for the day, but not so much when you're writing and working from home full time.
That's the challenge of being a writer, and this is the part where we always caution folks to be a writer. If you're a writer 24/7 because you're always thinking about stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about that in our trip. Other things, of course, we are parents and grandparents, and we are longtime public servants, as you mentioned. We're retired. We are also very proud Nevadans, as you can tell by our colors today. We're wearing our colors today.
The Nevada
This is
tartan.
the official Nevada tartan.
Now,
here comes the story.
Here comes the sidebar on this. So, this is the official Nevada state tartan, which means that it was officially approved by the Nevada state legislature. I do not know whether this is registered, because there is a tartan registry. So the tartans that represent various clans in Scotland, for example, will be registered in the tartan registry. I do not know if the Nevada tartan is registered in the tartan registry. It is official for the state of Nevada.
Yep.
I did have a conversation with somebody about this, because during my day job, I designed a pin, a lapel pin, that has the Nevada tartan on it. It's basically the logo currently for the Nevada State Archives. And someone asked me if the tartan was registered. So I do not know. It may be. But it is official because it was approved by the Nevada State Legislature. That's as far as it goes.
And we just want to point out in these lovely tartans that the blue dominates the red. Not like,
UNLV, UNR, yes. We know the canon is
Congratulations to the UNLV Rebels for keeping the canon red for another year. Nevada really didn't give you much competition, but we want to just say, as good sports, congratulations on keeping the canon red. And, but in our tartan, blue dominates red, so there,
And just as a side note for that, the cannon is actually a replica of the Fremont cannon. There's a whole story behind that, but that is one of the, if not the largest trophy,
it is the largest
college football trophy. Goes back and forth between the University of Nevada, Reno, which is the original University of Nevada.
The Nevada Reno.
So University of Nevada, when our northern campus wins, we paint the cannon blue. Currently, because the Nevada colors for UNR are silver and blue. UNLV is red and white, I believe.
Yeah.
So the canon is currently red. It's been red for several years now. So that's a little backstory about our alma mater, UNR, and the
Go Pack.
rivalry. UNR was, University of Nevada was created in the 1870s, I believe, and UNLV came along in the middle of the 20th century. So UNR's been
Actually,
around.
don't even think it's the middle. I think it was like the 1970s.
I
So
thought it was the 60s, but
yeah,
you know, basically it was created as an offshoot of the University of Nevada, Reno. University of Nevada started in Elko, actually.
4-year hotel school.
Oh no, there's a law school. There's a lot going on. They do a lot of gaming history because a lot of the gaming focus in Nevada is really centralized in Las Vegas. People consider Las Vegas one of the gaming capitals of the world. So, you know, UNLV has a lot going on, but it's a more recent school, and we are proud of our alma mater. So,
we've kind of meandered.
Congratulations, UNLV.
We've kind of meandered over, from introducing ourselves to talk about the university history in the state of Nevada.
We are alumni, though.
Yeah,
so,
we are proud alumni, but we do this. We just go. If you're looking for some sort of structure in these podcasts, sometimes we give it, sometimes we don't. It just depends on how much of our coffee we've drank. Hello, Jack.
Well, and we've also just gotten back from a holiday trip,
Yeah,
so
we're going to dive into that.
We're not really clear-headed right now.
Yeah, we'll dive into that. Very quickly about our current projects. We're just in big-time writing, editing mode. We don't have any books planned for the rest of 2025.
Right.
Ugh. We don't have any books planned for the rest of 2025. 2026, we're probably going to have 4 or 5 come out.
At least.
So that's good. And for those that are on the edge of their seats, one of those books includes the sequel to Passion.
Passion Restored. So it will be Restless Spirits Book 2. I do have the title, but I have not revealed it yet. I'll be doing that probably after the new year because I'm going to need a cover also. But that is my current work in progress. I have part 2 is my active project. Part 3 is written, needs revision to fit it into the series better. So at least those 2 books should be out in 2026, plus Battleborn Bride, which is my 3rd project. That will be historical with some romance. Going back to my love of history, it will be dealing with the Nevada during the Constitutional Convention in 1863, 1864, and how Nevada became a state and the people that were involved in that, including someone named Sam Clemens, who became Mark Twain in Nevada, and he's got a fairly decent role in it. Not him personally, but kind of his personality weaves its way through the story. So that should be interesting, and that should be coming out Nevada Day 2026.
On my side of the house, what I was originally planning to do is the Finding Salvation was going to be 3 novellas.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to be released individually. Then we did the math and we realized that it was going to be really expensive to do that. Just from the editor. So what we did is part 1 is out there for 99 cents on the major sites. Finding Salvation Part 1. It placed as a finalist in the Independent Author Network awards for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten some really good reviews. 99 cents. It's really worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
Then what I'm going to be doing is parts 2 and 3 are in the process of being edited by Red Adept. They've already been seen by TerryCase.com. They've already been seen by the wonderful Terry Case, and she did a fantastic job, as she always does. And then Red Adept is doing their magic. And so I already have a cover.
Mm-hmm. Great cover.
And I'm going to give the gentleman's name some love here. And he's over on 99 Designs. And it's Thakshila Bandera. And if I've slaughtered your name, I am so sorry. It's Thakshila, Thakshila, and then Bandera, Bandara. Does a wonderful job, so professional. If 99 Designs ever wanted to had a Artist of the Month, he would be my nominee. But so the cover that he did is just wonderful, and I'm just eager to show it to y'all, but we can't until we get closer. And hopefully that's going to be a Valentine's Day release, though I'm thinking that's going to be pretty darn close because there's just so much editing because of the writer. So much editing that needs to be done on this book. So
well, and our editors seem to be very booked up lately.
Yeah,
so that's great. We are glad that they're getting love, but it does throw off our schedule sometimes. So, you know, we are independent, self-published authors, but there are still schedules that we have to adhere to
Yep.
because we contract people to help us out with editing and cover design.
Yep. So, when this book comes out, it's just I'm going to be very proud of it. It's turned out really, really well. But and what we're going to probably do with the 99-cent thing is that we're going to make it once the book is published, Finding Salvation. Then what we'll probably do is offer the 99-cent book as a free book to people who sign up to our site.
To our newsletter.
For our sign up for our newsletter. So it's all good. It's all fun. And what else did we want to talk about?
Today is November 30th.
Yeah.
As we are filming this, so we were going to talk about our November events.
Yeah.
The month started off strong but cold.
Yeah.
With the Nevada Day Parade, where we sold books. It was a good day. Don't know whether or not we will try that again next year. There were various vendor events going on around town. We did the official Nevada Day vendor event, so we'll look into doing that next year. Was that the only one we did in November? No,
we did a book signing. We did a Barnes and Noble book signing, and
that we are not well known enough yet, I think, to really draw much of a crowd at Barnes and Noble. So Barnes and Noble has been wonderfully supportive. We really appreciate the managers that we've worked with. They've all been very friendly and helpful, and it's nothing against Barnes and Noble. I think we just need more of an audience before we can really attract people in that kind of environment. So those were our 2 events for November, I think.
And we have 3 events in December so far, unless I come up with a wild hair. Oh no, we also did the Veterans Day. We also did the Veterans Day signing at Comic Coffee, and we were able to make a donation to the State of Nevada Veterans Services Suicide Prevention Education Program, and so we were very happy and proud to do that from the signings that we did there. So that was a wonderful event.
And Comic Coffee was great. The vibe there is a lot of fun. We talked to some fun people. Someone actually said that they went out of their way. One of the people that was sitting there was waiting for his daughter to come because she was actually the one that wanted to come and see us, which was exciting because she'd seen it in our local news outlet that we were going to be there. So she actually planned to come see us, not just ran across us like most people. So that was fun. That was actually very exciting, and I really enjoyed Comic Coffee. So it is kind of a local hangout. It's across the street from the Nevada State Legislature. The building has quite the history, and it's got quite the atmosphere. JT often goes there to write and edit. So, if you're in Carson City, check out Comic Coffee.
Yeah. And in December, we have 3 events coming up. Next weekend, the 6th, we will be at the Reno Public Market. We will be at the Reno Public Market, and, for the afternoon, along with many, many of our colleagues, and it's just always fun to see them because many of them have been on this podcast, either through the Nevada Author Network or through the CC and JT Image Hour, so we get to see them. And then the following weekend, we have back-to-back Saturday and Sunday events, and this is going to be exciting for us because we're doing a very small signing at the Sierra Arts Foundation at the Riverside Gallery, which is just right there, across from the old post office, across from the Pioneer Center. And we're going to have 3 or 4 tables there with just us doing readings and talking about our books. And so that's going to be just so much fun. And we do want to thank everybody that set that up and for inviting us, especially to Jackie.
Yes, Jackie Turner.
Jackie Turner, who is just a fabulous person.
I think she was not the driving force behind it, but she is the one who specifically invited us.
Yeah, and so we are just so honored that she included us in this small gathering. And then the next day, we are going to be at the Nevada State Museum again. We always have fun. Thank you, Casey, for inviting us. Casey Winslow, who is the bookstore manager, just a really neat person.
And that actually takes us back full circle because the first event that JT did this year, I did not participate. I was just kind of there to be the gopher, but was at the Nevada State Museum at their spring signing. So we've gone full circle now, and actually I think it's flipped. I think we're doing the museum on Saturday and the Sierra Arts Foundation on Sunday.
Oh, sorry about that.
So the 13th at the Nevada State Museum, and then the 14th at the Riverside Gallery. which is downtown across from Pioneer Center.
Yeah, and the Nevada State Museum has just got the right ambiance. It's just really cool. And we have several
Yes.
books in the Nevada State Museum gift shop,
Mm-hmm.
which is so cool too. So we're just, our partnership with them has just been rewarding.
Yes.
And we're very happy to have them.
I'm a longtime fan. Well, I think you are as well of that museum. The museum goes back to the 1940s. It's got great ambiance, and it's got an underground mine, which is a lot of fun. If you've got kids, that's a great place to take them.
Yeah, someday I'll tell you the story about how I was a volunteer security guard at the Nevada State Museum back in the 70s. It's not it's a funny story, but anyway. Yeah, anyway. So we finally come to the subject of this podcast, and we appreciate your patience on reaching to this point. And we're going to talk about the holiday. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving. And so what we do for Thanksgiving is we head on down to Sacramento, specifically West Sacramento, because we see the awesome aunt and the awesome uncle.
Mm-hmm.
But we also got to see the awesome cousins. We also got to see awesome aunt's two sons and their families, which is just great. So full participation, just
full house.
Full, and we got to eat at our two favorite dining places. We got to eat at Epi's, which is in West Sacramento, which is right by the junction of Interstate 80 and US 50. It's right there.
It's a great place.
It's really a great ambiance. So we always have Thanksgiving there, and they just really do things so nice, and it's very popular, and we just have fun there. And then the next morning we do breakfast at Carol's, and that's just another local diner, which I wish was here. Carol's is just old-fashioned dining, old-fashioned food, old-fashioned prices, and just a really fantastic staff. So, and I guess at this point I should mention that we are not being endorsed by any of the places' business, because we're about to talk about a really big place here in a second.
Yep.
But we're not endorsed by them. We're just, saying, hey, if you are in Sacramento or West Sacramento, check out Carol's and check out Epi's.
Actually, I think, isn't Carol's in No, it is in.
They're both
West. Never mind.
They're both in West Sacramento.
There is a kind of a fine line between West Sacramento and Sacramento itself, but.
Anyway, when we usually go, and we're getting to the point of this podcast, when we usually go, we usually stay at the Holiday Inn Express in West Sacramento, which is over on the harbor. We've done it dozens of times, but we said, you know what, we haven't done a lot of traveling in 2025. Let's splurge, and let's do the upscale place, which is across the river, across the bridge, right there at Embassy Suites. Now,
it's actually right next to the Tower Bridge.
Right next to the Tower Bridge, the big yellow across the river from the Sutton Health Field, where the A's, I almost said Oakland A's, where the West Sacramento A's play.
I think they're the California team right now.
I don't know. They're just so we decided to stay at the Embassy Suites, which costs twice as much as what we're used to paying. But we said, let's do something. Let's do something different. Excuse me. And it was just a totally new vibe, especially for me. And I felt like a complete fish out of water. And from the picture that you see on the blog post is the picture I took when we first got there. And it was at that point there on the 8th floor by our room, 825, that I remembered that, oh, wait, I have a fear of heights. And, you are way up there with the open courtyard.
Yep.
And the Embassy Suite staff is so nice.
Oh, they were awesome.
They do everything. They valet the car, which, how do we valet a car? We've never had our car valeted before.
Well, I'm sure we have at some point, but yeah, this was different.
Yeah, so they valet the car, and the front staff checked in, could easily see that we were, small town folks in big city. And then the folks in the little restaurant, just really bent over backwards. Cece had the strangest grilled cheese sandwich in the world.
Yeah, it was. I can't think of it. It's a specific type of salad, and my mind still has not recovered from this trip, so I'm losing words. My apologies, but it was definitely. It had the drizzle of sauce on it and everything. When you get these upscale meals that they always go overboard when they're plating the food. So it was a good sandwich. It just wasn't my normal taste. Gosh, and I cannot think of what kind of salad it was, but.
And when we got in our room, we opened the windows. Right down the street, State Capitol.
Beautiful view of the Capitol.
Yeah, we could see the State Capitol. So going from Capitol to Capitol, because we're not from our porch, but if we were to move a little to the left or through the right and look through the trees, we would see our state capitol building, the dome from our building, and we could see the dome of the Sacramento state capitol, the California state capitol in Sacramento.
And it is interesting that the differences between the two buildings, because the California state capitol looks like a state capitol building. The Nevada state capitol was built in 1871. It is still, original sandstone. It's got the silver dome. It's not a, broad, grand building. It's very much a small people's house.
Yep, and the differences, of course, is the California State Assembly, I believe, still meets in the Capitol building.
They may, because it's a huge building.
It's a huge building, whereas our legislature just did renovation and
they're still working on it.
Still working on it, and they have I don't think this is an accident. It's twice the size of the state capitol, probably easily, if not 3 times, just in square yardage. But our capitol is quaint. We like it. But the point of this podcast, or the subject of this podcast, is the fish out of water thing, because the vibe was just totally off, because we're used to doing everything ourselves. I mean, really nice guy, even took our bags up to our room, and, we're used to dragging everything.
He helped us open the door to the room because I couldn't quite get the card key to work.
Well, let me put it this way. While we were having dinner, they had what I call beer call, obviously, because I'm military, but then what they call is the manager's reception.
Right.
But they opened up a counter for free wine, and oh my gosh, dozens and dozens of people there. And I've completely forgotten the point that I was trying to make about beer call.
Well, it's it's more of a communal environment, because they do have a large atrium area in this hotel where they're encouraging people to, like with the manager's reception, come down and mingle with the other guests, because normally you get to a hotel, you go to your room, you've got the cramped hallways and everything, but in this hotel all the rooms look down into this atrium, more or less, and it's meant to be a more communal environment.
But now I remember the point. Thank you for talking long enough for me to make my point. But it was clear from the people in this line, there's a phrase going around the internet right now. You are 2 paychecks away from being homeless, and the people in this line getting their free wine. They are not free. Yeah,
it's part of your room fee.
It's part of your room, but it's still these folks were not 2 paychecks from being homeless. Not by any stretch. So basically,
the environment is that this is outside of our comfort zone, but these are people that do this kind of thing all the time.
Yeah, and
mentioning family, one of your cousins tends to stay in places like this. They are in the upper income level, and they are used to having people help them with their luggage, valeting their car and things like that, whereas we are not.
Yeah,
Nothing against them. It's just a different life experience.
So let's talk about this thing about being fish out of water. And, even though we knew this, and we knew this was going to happen, we knew that this was going to be a different experience for us. But, we hadn't done a lot of traveling this year. Hopefully next year we'll do that. We hadn't done a lot of traveling this year because we were so focused on getting the business going. And it's really, doing the business of writing is really time consuming and soul consuming. But my point being is we didn't do a lot of travel this year, so we said, let's splurge, let's spend twice the money that we're used to, put it in the budget and everything. Worked out fine. We budgeted for it, and it worked out great. And I don't know how much it was for CC, but I was just completely unvibed. Although I was much better by the second day, because human body does adapt. But the point being is we're thinking that writers should take themselves out of their comfort zone and really screw up their vibe as much as they can, screw up their mojo as much as we can, because we did pick up, and as I said earlier, we write all the time because we're always recording things.
Yep.
Things like the interior elevators that were, had glass.
The glass elevators.
Glass elevators, and, going up and down those glass elevators, watching people in those elevators. Great people watching event, by the way. Things like that we're not used to. And we'll use the glass elevator actually as a metaphor for this podcast, because usually the elevators we take are very enclosed, and we're very, self-involved. Whereas these elevators were open to the world. They could see us, we could see them. And it goes up and down very fast, and so we could see everything. And you notice these things, and you pick out details. Something I pointed out to CC is there's 8 floors in this thing. And so the first floor, of course, is, the main floor.
The ground floor.
The ground floor, and there were some, no, I don't, there, I don't remember.
No, it was conference rooms because it's a convention hotel.
Yeah, and so the floors start on the second, but I noticed as you went up on the floors, you had, they were all plastic plants, of course. They had this kind of plants that stood, probably about a foot high. Then you go up a floor, and it was about half that.
Right.
You go up a floor, you do this, and, and it just alternated. These are details that writers pick out and that they store for later. And it's not a big deal. It's only things probably only anal people notice. Hello. But what else did you notice that you stored, you could say?
So JT noticed the plants, which totally bypassed what I was looking at. I was down looking at the signs in the convention area that they had promenade, basically they will name the different rooms in the convention area, and then people, when they are setting up a convention, they'll tell you, well, this room has a capacity for a certain number of people. I've had experience working in that kind of environment, so obviously that's what stuck out to me. The signs that they had for these rooms were basically promenade, which, ground level promenade, people are walking around, but also they may have been railroad related because I think one of them said something about Central Pacific. So I was noticing the signage. You were noticing the faux plants that were, and we were both people watching, I think.
Yeah.
So I also was staring at the glass elevators because it reminds me of back in the day, and I'm not even sure now if this is the case, but there was a new mall that was built in Modesto, south of Sacramento, and it was called Vintage Fair. I think it still exists. It's one of the indoor malls, and I believe that was one of the first places I may have seen a glass elevator. Childhood memories, it can always be different, but so the glass elevators really fascinated me. I've always really, I think there was a glass elevator on the outside of a hotel somewhere. Okay. That they're usually high speed type of elevators, and it can be unnerving, especially if, like JT, you have a problem with heights. So watching people going in and out of these elevators, the kids are always fascinated and excited with the view, except we did have the mother and her little kid in the stroller, and the kid was just kind of like, whatever, already unfazed, still in the stroller. So people watching and the signage is kind of what I noticed.
So what we recommend, which we didn't do, but what we recommend is, well, first of all, we do recommend, getting out of your mojo, getting out of your vibe, and getting that jarring, getting out of the routine, get that jarring reality check, and then, taking mental notes, or better yet, which is what we should have been doing, is, write down things. Always write down things. We say that over and over in this podcast, yet we rarely do it.
Yep.
Is write down things as much as you can so you can include them. And the reason that we recommend, of course, getting out of, there's so many good reasons for getting out of your routine, especially for writers, is because we can get into that routine, and that routine appears in our writing. We start using the same tropes, we start using the same character habits, and for me, using the same word. For instance, in this latest editing session, I used the word fine 27 or 28 times in the same 40,000 words, and it's like, and Terry tells me when I do that. It used to be noted, but now it's fine, so I got to fix that. But it's mess up your routine,
right?
Because it can only help you improve your craft.
And it also engages all of your senses, because we mentioned the things that we saw, but I don't know if it was as much for you as it was for me. With the atrium in this hotel, it was loud because everything down in the ground level was amplified and rose up. So when we were in the room, I could hear when they had the manager's reception, I could hear all the conversation happening down there. We were also facing the freeway and didn't hear that quite as much, but it was still, you get the sound of the trucks going by in the middle of the night, or you get the sound of somebody in the shower first thing in the morning. So the sounds when they are cooking the meals, for example, what does it smell like around you? If you're having a meal, what does it taste like? We both mentioned the grilled cheese sandwich that I got was not what I was normally tasting. So engage all of your senses when you're out having these experiences too. There is something fascinating about learning about other places, but also I remember distinctly when we went to France, we were picked up at the airport at Charles de Gaulle to be taken to our hotel. It was
or as we call it, hell, Charles de Gaulle.
CDG, not our favorite airport. But we were picked up in a van, our group, and taken to the hotel. And as we were driving the freeways, they had the sound walls and everything. Mm-hmm. And I remember specifically that JT mentioned, this looks like the Bay Area. It looked a little bit like, because we'd flown out of San Francisco.
Just in the part, over by the
airport, the freeway,
with the sound walls and everything.
So going to other places shows you both the differences and the similarities to where you're from. So we're in Paris, we're on the freeway, but it looks like a freeway that we're very familiar with. So these kinds of things are things that your characters can notice as well. And like JT said, it's good to make a note of them, write it down somewhere, because over time these things fade away and then you're just like, oh, what was I trying to remember about that trip?
So,
but it's good to pay attention to what you're doing.
So to bring this full circle, since that seems to be almost the theme of this, but it's going to be about comfort zones. And Cece mentioned earlier that I like to go to coffee because it's a comfort zone. I like to write there because I can put on the music and I've got a comfort zone. And it's not, don't get embedded in comfort zones.
Right.
Don't get embedded, because then you're not doing your readers a favor. Get outside your comfort zone. Get outside your mojo and your vibe, and experience those new things as much as you can. And for us, it's, we're at the end of our life experience. We still got 20, 30 years to go. So we have plenty of life experience left, and we're going to do that. We're going to get outside of that comfort zone as much as possible. But we recommend that if you write at home for XYZ reason, go to a coffee shop just to pick up the different vibe. Jar yourself a little bit, and do a little people watching and see what you can do there. And maybe one of those people, especially the obnoxious one who's spouting political stuff on the table next to you, you can put them in your book, and then you can do things to them.
It does help with your stress levels. But JT mentioned that going to coffee's become a comfort zone, but you were having a bit of trouble getting out of your funk. You were kind of in a writing funk earlier this year and did an overnight at a local hotel. So you don't have to travel far.
Right.
You can do an overnight stay, go to a neighbor's house or a friend's house, go to a family member's house. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. Just go to a different location. Normally I have a problem with that, but I actually did get some writing done on this trip, which I felt was a step in the right direction.
Yep.
Because I have trouble writing on the road. I'm trying to get out of that because my comfort zone is being either at my desk here or upstairs, and I need to spread my wings a little bit when I'm writing. Doing
a quick stay in the hotel room up the street here was a wonderful idea by CC, and it knocked me out, and I got it all done. And that was the Serving Salvation series that I was able to finish up, so that was awesome. Okay, so comfort zone's good. Mm-hmm. But comfort zones can also be a danger zone. So,
constricting.
Find some place out of that when you need to. Okay, so far so good. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
Well, and it doesn't even have to be going to a specific location. Just say hi to somebody.
Yeah.
It can be something very simple, and, something not similar to what you normally do. So if you were normally walking down the street and you're quiet, just if somebody happens to meet your eye, say hello. Yeah. That can break you out of your comfort zone. It doesn't take much.
So anyway, as we close this podcast, we do want to point out our table decorations for today. We do want to point out our Charlie Brown tea and the archivist nutcracker.
Actually, no, this is my teacher nutcracker.
Okay, teacher. You call it whatever you want.
I got this one, and I do have a specific archivist nutcracker that a former coworker who I consider a friend made for me. But this one is one that I got in honor of our oldest, who is a teacher. So it looks like she's a math teacher, but she has books.
So the reason that I point this out, because Operation Christmas Decoration has started, and so it begins.
Well, I don't know if you
Right,
noticed
yeah,
that.
you were in your, and if you, right off the camera, right over there is our, the start of our Christmas tree. And the Christmas decorations, you can see back there. You can see more stuff back there. So it's probably by the end of end of today or end of tomorrow, this place will be totally socked in. And and that's awesome. I really I really do love it when Cece does this, because it really makes it special here. And really, I wish we could have more people over so they could see the wonderful, wonderful stuff that you do here. Because
well, we may have the grandkids over at some point. Who knows? But it's we started out, and I think we've mentioned it before, our first Christmas, we didn't even think we'd have a Christmas tree. And I think our Christmas tree is probably not much bigger than that. We couldn't afford much of anything. So I currently have 9 trees up, including the Charlie Brown tree. But I have things like bottle brush trees and everything.
9 trees. We have a 10-foot tree.
No, there's a 7-foot tree in our bedroom. This one is a 7.5-footer.
Yeah, we have we already have a tree in our bedroom, and so I'm in there, doing something, and at 4 o'clock on the dot, it lights up. It's like,
it's got white light, so it's a little bright.
Yeah. Okay, I think we've taken all these people a good time.
We just we, as in myself, I'm very fond of the holiday season. I have a lot of happy memories of the holiday season, so I enjoy this time of year, but it can also be a little melancholy. And so decorating it, like you said, it kind of makes things a little more special. So
I don't mind. I sound grouchy and everything, but I really don't mind. I love it when she does this. It makes me so very happy.
I have plans for him for this Christmas. So
save me.
We'll see how that works out, but I have an interesting plan. We'll see if it actually happens, but it could go along with our personalities a little bit.
Okay.
That was a tease.
Okay, we really should let these folks go.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for coming along. We've done a lot of these episodes. We have fun, and mostly we just enjoy having you in our house, having you in our home, learning about us, learning about our writing styles, learning about our books, and just mostly sitting down with each other and just having coffee.
Well, also, since we've expanded to author interviews, I've said it before, I kind of dread when we're getting ready for them, but afterward I always feel like we've made new friends. So hopefully you are feeling a little bit that way about joining us here, that maybe you have made a new friend. We'd love to make more friends out there. If you're interested in writing, if you are a reader and you're interested in reading, definitely shop small this Christmas.
Shop small.
And, thank you for hanging out with us.
Definitely. So sitting over there is CC.
And over there's JT.
Thank you again for hanging out with us, and we hope to see you in the airways down the road. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.